Hello everyone, welcome to Shifting Gears and welcome inside the new Tata Curvv with the latest turbo-petrol engine. So, the variant which I have with me today is the top of the line trim Persona, of course. But this is the new Hyperion turbo-petrol engine coupled to a 6-speed manual transmission option. In this video, we are going to focus on how does this Tata Curvv feel from behind the wheel. This is going to be a detailed, very extensive drive review video. We will have one more video for this Tata Curvv where we will speak about the exterior and interior changes compared to the Curvv EV. So I hope that you have checked out our content pieces for the Tata Curvv EV and then you check all of these two content pieces out too, along with multiple other short format videos which we will upload for this product, so that you can make an informed buying decision if at all you are considering to bring home a Tata Curvv in whichever format, ICE or EV. What I really want to appreciate is that Tata Motors has gone all guns blazing with the Tata Curvv. So you have the EV with 2 battery pack options, and then this Tata Curvv ICE, it is being offered to you with 3 engine options. A baseline 1.2 liter motor which is also shared with the Tata Nexon. Then you have this, the new Hyperion turbo petrol engine, and then you also have a 1.5 liter turbo diesel engine which is also heavily reworked, by the way. So you have all the powertrain options, petrol, diesel or EV. And then with these ICE engines, internal combustion engines, you have a dual clutch automatic gearbox option with each of the engines. So that is quite commendable, and Tata Motors is offering you all that you might desire. So it is up to you which variant of the Tata Curvv you want to bring home. So let us deep dive into this drive review video, and first let me start with the engine specifications of this particular variant which I have with me today, which is the Tata Curvv turbo petrol with a manual gearbox. So first, if you buy the base variants of the Tata Curvv, with that you will get a 1.2 liter Revotron engine. This engine produces 88.2 kilowatts of peak power at 5500 RPM and 170 Newton meters of peak torque between 1750 to 4000 RPM. The variant which I have with me right now, this is the Hyperion gasoline direct injection motor. This also is a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder unit and it produces 91.9 kilowatts of peak power at 5000 RPM and 225 Newton meters of peak torque between 1750 to 3000 RPM. And then if you are a diesel engine lover, you have a 1.5 liter cryojet motor, and this 1.5 liter engine produces 86.7 kilowatts of peak power at 4000 RPM and 260 Newton meters of peak torque ranging between 1500 to 2750 RPM. With all of these engines, you get Eco, City and Sports driving modes. And in terms of transmission, of course, you are getting a manual box with each of these engines, and you also have a dual clutch automatic coupled to all of these engines. So the choice is yours which engine and gearbox option you want to bring home. But then there are so many personas, so many variants that you are surely going to be confused. So now first let's speak about the NVH characteristic of this engine. Now because this is an all new motor and because this is a 1.3 liter turbo petrol engine, let us try and understand if the cabin is quiet or not. Let me tell you, I have been driving this car since the past 2 hours in and around the streets of Goa. The cabin insulation is quite good and it is a quiet car on the inside. The engine noise is not heard inside the cabin even when you are hard on the throttle, and even when the revs peak, it doesn't sound too coarse. So Tata Motors has done a fine job in that department. And also, let me just pull over to the shoulder, ensuring that it is safe. Alright, so check this out. Now that I am at a standstill, I have activated the EPB, electric park brake. Auto hold function is active. At a standstill, there is no vibration that I can visibly see. So the outside rear view mirrors and the inside rear view mirror, none of it is vibrating. The steering wheel is not vibrating. This gear stick is not vibrating. Everything is strongly well put together, and I assume that the bushings are quite nice because nothing is visibly vibrating. Now yes, this is a 3-cylinder engine, so there is some mild pulsation that you will be able to make out if you think too deep and you give it too much of thought and attention. But it is not to the point that it is going to be uncomfortable. Your passengers will not even make out that they are in a 3-cylinder motored vehicle. So in terms of NVH, no major problem. And now when I get going, check this out. When you're going to be driving around at city speeds, the engine is not heard much inside the cabin, and we are right now over 50, we are now over 60 kilometers per hour, now over 70. I'm now in 6th gear and 80 kilometers per hour. No tire noise, no road noise, not too much of any rolling noise, and the engine is not at all heard inside the cabin. So this is quiet inside the cabin of this Tata Curvv, so you will really appreciate it. Because of this, you will be able to drive for longer without feeling any fatigue, any audible fatigue. So you will be stress free at the end of your journey, at the end of your drive, and all of your passengers will also appreciate it if you are going out on a long road trip. The engine doesn't sound coarse like I mentioned, so this is not bad at all. The only thing is, if you are driving out in the monsoon season and if you are seated in the back seat, from that wheel well area you will be able to hear some water splashing kind of a sound, but that is the only negative that I have managed to find in terms of NVH with this Tata Curvv. So overall seems like this is quite well sorted. But let us understand how it sounds, how the motor sounds if you push it real hard. So what I'm going to do is pull over to the shoulder, and then we will accelerate from a standstill over 100 kilometers per hour. So before I do that, let me also tell you, you are getting 3 drive modes. The drive mode selector is over here next to the gear stick, behind the gear stick. So check this out. There is no stop. You can keep going in one direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise, and the modes will keep changing. You get a notification pop up over here on the primary infotainment. You get a telltale over here on your speedometer too, which mode you have selected. But thank God that audible alert is now not to be heard inside the cabin. City drive mode activated, economy drive mode activated. That annoyance is now gone, and I'm very happy about it. So what I'm going to do now is switch to eco mode, and now we will accelerate from a standstill. What I want you to notice is the amount of engine noise that is heard inside the cabin. I'm going to let the traffic pass, but meanwhile what I can do is let you hear this engine at a standstill. So listen to this. This is how it sounds inside the cabin. When I'm doing this too, no vibration inside the cabin, no problem at all. And it doesn't really sound all that bad for a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder motor, does it? I think it is decent. And now in 3, 2, 1, full pedal to the metal. Keep listening to the engine. I am in eco mode. In 2nd gear itself, you will touch 90 kilometers per hour, and in 3rd gear, you will be well over 120 kilometers per hour. This is how the engine sounds inside the cabin. Not bad at all, not coarse at all, even closer to the red line. with a 1.2 3-pot motor. This is as good as it gets. So Tata Motors has come a long way in terms of developing internal combustion engines. They have some faith in the future of internal combustion engines. That is why they have developed this all-new motor. And I think they are on the right path in terms of progressing to deliver a well-engineered engine to you if you do not want to buy an EV or a hybrid just yet. So now check this out. 6th gear, typical commute. Engine noise? Not at all. And by the way, if you want to make any overtaking maneuvers, I have a bus in front of me. Check this out. I am not shifting gears. I have simply kicked the throttle pedal and the vehicle is building up momentum and we are good to go. And even when you are doing this, no rattle or racket that is heard. So quite a good job in terms of NVH from Tata Motors with this Tata Curvv. One more time, I am going to pull over to the shoulder, and this time we are going to speak about the ideal shift points. So what I am doing right now is slotting it in first gear. EPB is deactivated, auto hold is not active, and all I am going to do is simply release the clutch. Check this out. No hesitation, no vibration, no nervousness, no jerks, and it has started to crawl. In first gear, it is crawling at 11 kilometers per hour without any throttle input. Now I am tapping the throttle, and in first gear, the upshift prompt is coming up at 25 kilometers per hour. For second to third, let us check it out. The upshift prompt was a little under 45 kilometers per hour. From third to fourth, let us wait, and the upshift prompt has come up at a little under 65 kmph. From fourth to fifth, it has now showed up at speeds of 85 kilometers per hour. And if I'm going to continue in fifth gear, and if I continue to hold the throttle, it has already given me an upshift prompt, and it is just a little over 80 kilometers per hour. So beyond 80 you can upshift whenever you want, but I have told you the ideal shift points when you are starting off. So those initial gears are where you have to be careful if you want good fuel efficiency, because that is where you suck out too much of fuel, especially in city limits. Once you are in the higher gears, the efficiency is generally better. So now that you know the shift points, let me speak about the tractability of this engine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the speed drop. So let me get off the fast lane, and now I'm slowing down this Tata Curvv. So the speed is now at 60, and I'm going to drop it further. I'm still in eco mode, by the way, and now the speed is at 50 kilometers per hour. I have tapped the throttle. You noticed that a few cars overtook me right now, and it is prompting me to downshift, the gear shift indicator, but it is picking up pace, the vehicle. It is doing that in a slow fashion because we are in eco mode, so we don't get the most rapid performance. But check this out. We are rolling and we are overtaking without any gear shifts. And while doing all of this, no, knocking or rattle or hesitation. So in terms of tractability, this is not a bad deal at all. Let us, get deep into that tractability point. And this time, when I come to a standstill, what I am going to do is I am going to now slot this vehicle in second gear. Again, EPB is off, auto hold is off, and check this out. I am simply slipping the clutch, modulating the clutch only. Right foot up, no throttle input. Check this out. No knocking, no audible hesitation, and I have both my feet off now, not touching the ABC pedals at all, and the vehicle is crawling at 17-16 kmph. And now when I tap the throttle, it has started to pick up, and all of this while we are on an incline patch. So quite impressive in terms of tractability. So because of this, your city driving is going to be effortless with this Tata Curvv, even though you are bringing home a manual transmission option. So that is quite promising from this product. So you know how the engine sounds, you know how this engine is performing at low speeds and at high speeds. This time what I will do is switch to sport mode, and we will try to accelerate hard one more time. So we will try to understand if it genuinely feels like it is in sport mode and if it feels brisk in terms of performance. Just as a proof for you, have a look at this. In the infotainment screen, I have now selected sport mode, and now we are going to sprint hard. So in 3, 2, 1, full pedal to the metal. Quite some wheel spin, because there is a lot of power and torque that is available on tap, and we are over 80 kilometers per hour in second gear itself, and long sweeping corners. We are out on the highway, and it does feel fast, and it does feel well glued to this road, and great acceleration. In third gear you will be over 120 kilometers per hour in no time, and wow, what a performance. I'm sure you noticed that the gear did not shift well. That is a problem with this gear stick, but let us check out the acceleration one more time. So let me pull over to the shoulder. Let me come to a standstill. We are still in sport mode, and now slotting it in first gear, and now in 3, 2, 1, building the revs, some wheel spin. Listen to the engine. Doesn't slot that well. And in third gear, it is picking up pace. If you shift up even over 120 kilometers per hour, the performance doesn't taper off. I have to slow down for speed limits, but what I want to highlight is that the engine has a lot of go, but the gearbox doesn't match that go. This is a 6-speed manual transmission, and while shifting doesn't take too much of effort, the gear gates are not at all well defined. So because of that, you will have to fiddle around with this gear stick quite a bit. If you're driving casually and not really in a spirited manner, you won't really feel too much of a problem. Check this out. It's all right for the average Indian commute, but it is just that when you push it hard, it doesn't really slot in at the right place at the right time. So that can take away from your driving thrill. So the gear gates are not all that well defined. The gear throws are medium, they are not too long, but it could have felt better. It also doesn't look good, this gear stick, in a car of this price. So this definitely should have been better visually and the way that it is working. Alright, so the gear shift, you can't really do anything about it. It is what it is right now. So if you are planning to buy the Tata Curvv with this Hyperion really powerful turbo petrol engine, I would tell you just blindly go ahead and buy the DCA, because that is going to be a much more rewarding experience, because then that gearbox is going to take all control, and that is going to be much smarter than this gear stick. Now in terms of shifting gears, the clutch action is moderate effort, medium throw. It is not too long. It doesn't feel as effortless as a clutch, say for example on a Hyundai product, but it is not really too heavy, so you can live with it. The problem is the ABC pedals are very closely packaged. Yes, you do have enough space to the left hand side of the clutch pedal, to get your foot off and then rest it. But the clutch and brake pedal, they are very close. So if you wear chunky sneakers, you have to be careful while driving your vehicle. You can't really just go hard onto the clutch because you might accidentally also tap the brake pedal. So that packaging could have been better, because there is some space on the left for the clutch pedal to move that side to ensure overall safety and better ergonomics. So it is what it is. I spoke about the engine performance, which is great on the highway. It's great for city commuting in terms of tractability. I told you how the gearbox is performing. There are 3 drive modes: city, eco and sport. Of course, you know this by now. What it does, it modulates your throttle input. The throttle maps are different, so the way the vehicle will respond to your throttle input is going to be different. The most varied difference is when you will feel after shifting between eco and sport. So you either drive it in eco or you straight away go to sport. I mean, I don't know why city modes actually exist. And then in terms of ergonomics, in terms of visibility, let me tell you, this Tata Curvv is a unique body style. Only the Citroën Basalt and the Tata Curvv, these are the 2 mass market vehicles which are positioned as SUV coupes, coupe SUV, whatever you'd like to call it. But it is not at all difficult to understand this vehicle. I have good view of all 4 corners of this car, a nice commanding driving position as well, really big wing mirrors. The inside rear view mirror has a good width, but the rear windscreen is a bit small because this is a coupe, so you can't really see much through that. But then if you want better rearward visibility, what you can do is simply touch this 360 cam button and you have the rear camera feed displayed to you over here. And the good thing is that the camera feed, the quality is quite nice, not choppy, and it shows up quite well. So I really like the camera quality too. So overall, in terms of driving this car, it is easy, it is effortless, it is not too difficult. It doesn't feel like a Tata truck. It feels like a good Tata product, a good Tata car, a proper modern car as per 2024 standards. It is just that this gear stick not up to my liking. Now the next point which I want to speak about is the steering wheel. I have been driving this car fast, I have been driving it at slow speeds, and the steering wheel has given me a good feel. It gives me a good connected feel where the wheels are pointing. So when I was driving fast through corners, no nervousness at all, and it just allows you to push the car that much more. So it feels light at city speeds. So if you are going to share this car with your friends and family, nobody is going to find it difficult to drive this Tata Curvv. It is an effortless vehicle, and when you're out on the highway, it weighs up quite well, so it doesn't feel too vague even at triple digit speeds. Check this out if you want to very quickly make an emergency maneuver. Good body balance, and the steering wheel gives you good confidence, so it helps you keep the vehicle in your control, in your desired line effortlessly. Check this out one more time. If you give really sharp steering inputs, no problems at all, and the steering wheel is not going to let you down. The next point which I want to speak about is the ride quality. The Tata Curvv is using 18-inch wheels. Now you might think that because of that the ride quality might be compromised a bit and it can be a bit bone jarring or a bit too stiff, but that is not the case. The ride quality is genuinely good, and even with 18 inches you don't feel too much of thuds inside the cabin. Right now we are out on the highway, of course, but even over those connecting points of this bridge, the balance is unshaken and the comfort is uncompromised. So you will really like it. And now check this out. If you are going to encounter a corner, for example, if you are carrying a bit of speed, the suspension doesn't sag around too much, and if you want to make an overtaking maneuver too, you can do it. And the vehicle, the body balance is such that it keeps you entertained. It doesn't make you feel like you are doing a bit too much for this car. It feels right. Whatever inputs you give, the vehicle handles it in a mature fashion. So the suspension is good for your city drives, it is great for highway drives too, and even at highway speeds, even at triple digit speeds, it doesn't have too much of vertical movement, so it doesn't feel wallowy and wafty. And even if you jump over a bit of an undulation, the vehicle stays glued to the road very quickly, and because of that you can have good fun with this Tata Curvv. I have had no problems at all in terms of ride quality, and I am not at all tired after having driven this car for almost 2.5 hours right now on the streets of Goa. So a pleasant experience for sure. The seat, they are also very well padded, so they are also offering me good comfort. It is a hot sunny day right now. I have set the air conditioning temperature at 20 degrees. Automatic climate control is active, but I have not activated seat ventilation. The AC performance is also that good. So overall, in terms of comfort, the Tata Curvv does deliver, and you, all of your passengers, you all will have no problem inside in this vehicle. Now speaking about the brakes, good confidence. Yes, this vehicle, this Tata Curvv comes with ADAS, so you have all of those modern tech features where the car will brake by itself too to ensure safety for you and for other road users. But when you tap the brakes, it is not overly sharp, it is predictable, so you can bring the car back in your control if at all you notice any emergency. So when you want to stomp on the brakes, when you want to slow down the vehicle, no problems in that department too. The tires, the stock tires which we are using today, we were driving it when it was drizzling in the morning. Right now it is bright and sunny. The tires have offered us good grip. Because of that, we have good confidence even while pushing this car at serious triple digit speeds. So it is a very well rounded off product. Tata Motors is on the right path to ensure you get a very well engineered product, and this Tata Curvv, you have to appreciate it. I really loved driving the Curvv EV, and I have had just as much of fun with this vehicle, this Tata Curvv ICE with this turbo-petrol manual. It is just that this manual gear stick has let me down a bit because it doesn't shift as desired. Now with this car, with this Curvv, you are getting level 2 ADAS, okay, but you are not getting adaptive cruise control with this vehicle. Adaptive cruise control is only available if you buy the DCA, dual clutch automatic variants of the Tata Curvv. With this manual gearbox option of the Tata Curvv, of course you do get cruise control, which is very easy to activate. Let me demonstrate that to you. Check this out. Cruise control speed, I have set it now. I'm going to set it at 80 kilometers per hour, and now I'm in 5th gear. But if I change gears, cruise control is going to get deactivated. You will have to activate it one more time. You can do that by the touch of a button. It is very easy to do that, by the way. But no adaptive cruise control. I'm going to build up speed and I will demonstrate that to you. So check this out. There is a vehicle in front of me, but it is not managing a safe distance. It is not slowing down. I have to do that myself. So that is something that you have to keep in mind when you are using cruise control with this Tata Curvv. Don't think that the ADAS is going to take all control. Check this out. If I come up very close, this Tata Curvv will give you a collision warning. It will brake and slow down your vehicle, and it will deactivate cruise control. So that is something that you should keep in mind if you are going out on a long highway drive with your Tata Curvv. In terms of ergonomics, everything falls right in place, no problems at all. The AC setting, you are getting automatic climate control. To increase and decrease the temperature, you have physical buttons, which is quite a good thing, but the rest of the touch panel, for that you will have to get your eyes off the road. The panel size is large, but the operating points are too closely stacked, so you might accidentally touch the wrong button. And over there are quite a few important buttons, like opening the tailgate. You don't want to do that. So that, in terms of functionality, could have been better. If it was not this touch sensitive panel, then it would have been the best, but since it is what it is, it should have at least been well spaced out. driving the vehicle under top sun, good bright infotainment screen, very bright speedometer cluster, even with that dark theme. All of the information shown to you there is easy to read and consume, so you will have no problems in that department too. So today I have driven this Tata Curvv for over 80 kilometers and the mileage figure is 13.4 kmpl. It is increasing with every 100 meters that we are now driving it out on the highway. So we drove it hard and fast, we checked out the acceleration, we tried to simulate tractability as per city speeds, and this kind of a mileage figure is acceptable in my books. For a car of this size and the performance that it packs, this is not too bad. If you buy the dual clutch automatic trims of this Tata Curvv, and if you are going to drive it in bumper to bumper traffic, the mileage figure can be closer to the single digit number, but it is still not too bad, and 15 kmpl could be easy if you are going out on a long road trip, even with 4 people on board in this Tata Curvv. Even the speedometer cluster, very nice and very well laid out. It is recessed quite a bit, so even under top sun you will have no problems consuming the information that is shown to you over there. So this Tata Curvv is quite a difficult car to fault, and for a Tata product, this has been quite an eye-opening experience, a very pleasant experience. The Tata Curvv EV was great, and this Tata Curvv ICE is also equally as good. So that is it, guys. That is all that I want to share with you from my first drive experience of this Tata Curvv turbo-petrol manual. If you have any other questions, ask me in the comments below and I will try my best to help you out. Till next time, subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel, press that bell icon, and always drive safely.